staying healthy in college. Someone wants me to talk about the partying scene, and I would be like, girl, that is a-okay. Someone asks me, hey, you want to go to this frat party? Or like crying on the phone to your family, or you're just like having the best time of your life. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy you're here. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we're doing a little college Q&A. It has been forever since I've done a little sit-down video on my channel, so I thought today would be the perfect day for this. I'm just basically going to be answering any questions you guys have, and also just sprinkling in some of the advice that I wish I would have had going into my freshman year. I know a lot of you guys are going into college, so I hope that this video will be helpful for you. Even if you're already in college or you're just out of college and not looking into that, I think this video will still be super encouraging and fun to watch. Before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, and if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So I asked you guys on Instagram as well as the YouTube community tab to submit some questions you might have about college, and you guys did not disappoint. Let's get on to question number one. Is how did college differ from my expectations? Probably how strict things are in college. When you're in high school, things are pretty strict, whereas college, your professors obviously will post like homework, but there aren't like all these reminders to do things. Professors sometimes don't ask about like not turning something in. You'll just get a 0 on it and they won't really say anything. But don't do that. Please don't do that. That really affects your grade. Do not do that. I also did not expect how much time you don't have. Going into college, I was kind of like,
oh my gosh, I'm gonna like do all these fun things with people after school.
And you can still totally do that, but it's definitely something you have to plan out. That's kind of like two ways that college differed from my initial expectations. How was/is adjusting to living far away from home? I live at least 14 to 15 hours away from Waco, Texas. It's not like I don't miss my parents or my family, because I definitely do, but it was kind of like one of those things where I was just ready. I was not really hanging on to high school. It was not like the best experience, so I was just very excited for kind of like a fresh start. I kind of think that played into the fact that I was not super homesick. Again, everyone's different, and so if it's harder for you to adjust, like don't think that's a bad thing. At least for me, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like, it's too easy to adjust. Like, am I like mean to my family for not like missing them as much? So don't make judgment calls based on whether you are like crying on the phone to your family or you're just like having the best time of your life. No, I hope that answers your question. This next question is about finances and how I'm trusting God through that. College is one of those things that is so expensive, and it's like increasing every year. There are a lot of different scholarships. I definitely applied for a lot of them. You know, I wrote lots of essays. I know one that Baylor specifically does a lot with is Imagine scholarships, but really checking those like resources out is really good. I know a lot of people also, you know, go to community college and then work maybe to transfer later. Definitely depends on academic scholarship. Baylor does academic scholarships, but then I also do music, so then there is some music scholarship as well. So just kind of looking into your specific major and seeing if there are like scholarships for that specific major, maybe even talking with some of the professors in that department. A lot of schools don't even fully use all the scholarship money that they have. There's a lot of potential to get some money through that. So as far as like trusting God through like the financial aspect, for me, I really don't like the idea of taking out tons and tons of loans that one day I will have to pay back. Not only pay back, but also pay back like interest on. I could be paying back student loans potentially into like my 40s before going to college. Maybe you have to take a year to work, and that's totally fine. Or you can work during college and try to like cash flow some of that money directly into paying for college. That's kind of how I would look at it. Obviously, there are many ways to look at it. Definitely looking into your school's financial resources is going to be like a major help for you. Thoughts on
Work social life / personal health balance.
But I would say just setting yourself like limits and being like, okay, I have done the studying I need to do. Now it's time for a break with people, because it's very easy to just get caught up in your school or your work and then just kind of neglect your social life. And I used to be the type of person that would just kind of like keep working and never take breaks and never do things with people. That is how you burn out, so you do not want that at all. You know, college is one of those things that, you know, it only happens once. Just making sure that you're not neglecting either one of those aspects of your life. So I hope that helps. How many classes do you usually take? What is academic work like? Currently, I'm taking 17 hours this semester, and for those of you who don't know, I am a secondary major in violin performance, and I recently switched my major to communications. I didn't want to tell people that I switched my major because I was honestly kind of embarrassed, kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm not sticking to my plan. To be completely honest, I kind of looked down on people who could make up their minds on what major they wanted to do, and that was something that the Lord really showed me that I was wrong in my thinking. So my 17 hours consist of communications classes, gen eds, you know, obviously violin related classes. I would say academically, it's not like that much different than high school, at least for me. Now it's more like the volume and just trying to keep up with that volume. Someone wants me to talk about the partying scene. So basically, Baylor is a Christian Baptist school, unapologetically Christian, you know, the phrases they use. However, yeah, parties do exist. I remember, funny story, I just moved in to college, into the dorms. My family left me. I get back, and literally as soon as my parents leave, someone asks me, hey, you want to go to this frat party? And I was like, oh my word. I personally kind of stay out of those circles just because those aren't necessarily the people that I click the best with. That's kind of what I'd say about that. They do exist. People find a way to drink, you know, just being aware of that. Anyway, moving on to the next question. What's the hardest part about college? What non-academic things did you find challenging or unexpected? Something about time management. I literally have to time block my day, like hour by hour, because college is so busy. There's so many things that I could be doing that I have to kind of like make a list of things that are my priorities and then arrange those in the order of things that are due. Most of the time, I can't get things done a week in advance. Sometimes I'm doing it literally like 3 hours before it's due. That goes very much against my natural tendency. I'm a very type A person where I like to have things set, planned, done. Unfortunately, it's not super realistic, especially if you're taking a lot of hours and you are also doing like 2 majors. That's very difficult. So I kind of just had to accept the fact that, you know, I'm gonna get it done, but I might have to wait a little bit last minute for things, because I kind of saw it as, oh my gosh, like I haven't started on this essay and it's due in 2 days. Like, past Elsah would be freaking out. Non-academic thing that I found challenging was probably just being like, oh, my parents aren't here, like I need to be responsible to make sure I buy toilet paper, make sure that my gas in my car is filled, make sure to check the tire pressure. There's no one there to kind of oversee you. You are responsible for yourself. So that's kind of how I'd answer that. All right, I got a question about staying healthy in college. Last semester, I was sick so many times. It was probably stress and lack of sleep, because let me tell you, freshman first semester was super rough for me. I'll just tell you kind of like what I've been doing that's really been helpful for me, just to make sure that I'm eating well and sleeping well and working out. So those 3 things are kind of my non-negotiables. For me, I unfortunately have very bad like digestive issues, a lot of like health problems, so I cannot really eat a lot of the dining hall food. So that means I have to cook a lot, which takes a lot of time. And I can also do like a video on like specifically how I meal prep, what I meal prep, what that looks like. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. And making sure that I'm eating a lot of protein and fat. Those are things that I did not realize in high school that I was really missing. Then for sleep, I really try to get at least 7 hours of sleep. As far as working out, this semester I'm taking an aerobic running class, so those days are kind of like my cardio run days, and then I try Monday, Wednesday, Friday to do like some type of weightlifting as well as my PT exercises. Of course, that does not always happen. Sometimes I will have a ton of homework to do and I have to skip the gym, but I definitely do try to make that effort to go, because not only will I feel great, I'll sleep better, and I also am preserving and building muscle. This is the time in your life where you are young, you can build muscle relatively easily compared to like if you're 40 years old. Your health, that affects all aspects of your life. That affects your grades, your ability to concentrate, your sleep, your mood. It affects everything. I start seeing that as things that are necessary, not things that are extra. Not only do you grow physically like stronger, but you also grow mentally stronger. That really seeps into a lot of other areas in your life. I know that was really long, but I'm super passionate about this because I really believe if a lot of students did that, they would be happier, healthier, and just overall feeling really good. And just remembering that you're a human before you're a student. So just taking care of your health and just making sure that is a priority. Next question. Super worried about how I'll fit in at college. I noticed in your videos that you were able to meet lots of people to hang out with early on. How did that work? Gotta say, the college vlogs, like especially the move-in one, it's so nostalgic. I'll leave it up here. A lot of the time you meet people just at the most random moments. Obviously, you meet your dorm floor. I was in the bookstore line and then I just started talking to this one person, and then you're like, oh, we're friends now. You can make friends in classes when you're both like, oh my gosh, what did the professor say? And then you're like, oh, I think he said this, and you like show the notes, and then the person's like, oh, thanks, and then then you get each other's numbers, and then it's really good to have connections in your classes. I met a lot of people in the music school because I'm a violin performance secondary major. I was able to connect with a lot of music people. How I was able to meet them is basically just doing things and just being willing to go out of your way and talk to the person, even if you're really scared. But I forced myself. I was like, Elsah, I know that they don't look like they want to talk, but you're gonna go talk to them and you're gonna make them not feel uncomfortable, but you're gonna make them like have to talk to you. It is so important for you to do that and to step outside your comfort zone, because sometimes that's the only way things happen. As a side note, something that has been super fun has been I've met some people literally who watch my videos, and it's like the most cute thing ever. It'll just be walking and then someone's like, oh my gosh, do you make YouTube videos? And I'm like, I do. And so that has also been a way to kind of like connect with people. If you guys ever see me on Baylor campus or anywhere, please wave to me, and I would love to come talk with you because it literally makes my day. Hold up, guys, gotta take a water break. Maybe you study with people. That's a great way to kind of like bridge friendships. You'll be very surprised how just like the simple mundane things lead to sometimes really great friendships. As far as fitting in though, I wouldn't worry about fitting in. I would really just worry about like being your unique self and not trying to be like everyone else. I definitely don't fit the stereotypical Baylor girl vibe, if you know what I mean. I really hate to see it when really sweet girls or anyone who have this, great personality, and then they go to school and then they try to become like everyone else. I think you naturally just find people who are kind of similar to you. There's a lot of pressure to be popular, to be known, I guess, and that's not a bad thing, but it can become a bad thing if you're settling and you're changing your values and beliefs for other people's approval. College is a very formative time. You don't want to come in strong in who you are and then leave someone completely different and maybe not for the better. That probably didn't need to be that deep, but of course I made it deep. On to the next question. Someone asks, what do you wear in college? Well, I would say it totally depends on who you are and like what your personality is. Is there like a uniform? Do people dress up? Is it more like, sweats and t-shirts? That totally depends on the individual as well as the school's culture. I know some schools are like known for people like, oh, going to school in pajamas. Baylor specifically is not. They're definitely more of the type to, I wouldn't say dress up, but look nice. What do I actually wear? It literally definitely depends on the day. I don't know, t-shirts like this, shorts, especially if it's hot. I personally don't dress up like a ton. I know some girls do, and that's kind of like maybe a stereotypical thing about Baylor. So I wouldn't like worry too much. I just wear something you're comfortable in. Okay, thoughts on sororities. Okay, so I have a lot of friends that are in sororities, super sweet girls. I think sororities can be like really fun to be in, probably. Personally, they're not my thing for many reasons. First of all, they're very expensive, and second of all, I would just not have the time for that, and actually even third of all, I just would not fit in those circles. Sometimes people can feel bad, like, what if I don't want to be in a sorority? What if that's not one of my desires? And I would be like, girl, that is a-okay. I know at Baylor, at least, the sororities can be more Christian, I guess you could say. I would be like, I can just be at a community group or some type of small group through a church without having to commit all this money, time, and effort. I do believe there is a little bit of a appearance aspect to what it looks like to be in a sorority, the image you're supposed to portray. Of course, like, if you want to join one, like, all the power to you, go for it. But I would just say that don't fall into the trap that if you don't join a sorority, you're not going to meet people. That is not true. You can meet people in so many other ways. But yeah, so those are kind of my thoughts on sororities. All right, this next question is, can you talk a little bit about your faith and what that looks like day to day in college? For those of you who don't know, I am a Christian. I'm a Christ follower. Jesus is the most important part of my life, and I wouldn't be here without him. Jesus has changed my life in ways that I would have never thought. As far as like day to day, college is super busy. You're going from class to class.
You've got homework, you've got practicing, you've got all these things.
Even the tiniest moments that I can just pray to God have been actually the most impactful. Sometimes I'm walking to class and I'll be like listening to worship music, and sometimes I'll be walking and praying in my head and just like talking to God through that. Everything I do is for God's glory. Taking a test, I'm in class, I am practicing violin, I'm in a concert, I'm talking to someone. Like, I try to make those moments ways that I really am intentionally glorifying God. Sometimes that'll look like me talking to someone about like church, or me talking to someone about like their beliefs and like, oh, like that's really interesting, and then like share my beliefs. The analogy would be like planting seeds like everywhere you go, and I think that's a really good way to look at it. But sometimes just being their friend, being someone who is open to talking with them, people definitely see that there's something different. I guess I always try to remember like the verse, like, be salt and light, be a city on the hill. Don't get me wrong, there are times where people are uncomfortable, people don't like that, but I try my very best to just kind of like brush it off and just be like, well, I tried and that's all I can do. Talk about meaningful things, because we've got a lot of fluff. We've got a lot of fluff in the world about just things that don't matter. I hope that I can kind of like get some more meaning in those conversations. And again, prayer is so powerful. I can be praying on my way to class, during class if I'm wanting to, before a test obviously, because we all pray for good grades. But that's kind of something that I've been challenging myself to do, is making use of the time I have, even if that's just like waiting in line. Okay, next question. If you have free time, how do you use it? So I don't have like a ton of free time. If I have free time, one of my favorite things to do, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will see this not infrequently, where I will like post about my walks. I love sunset walks. Put some good music in, listen to a podcast, or just like listen to the nature around me. It just makes me so happy. There has to be like a word for this, like this just euphoria feeling of happiness you get when you're outside walking. I don't know. Anyway, that is something I really love to do in my free time. Some of my friends and I have gone to like the tennis courts. Sometimes I'll grab a buddy to work out with. I love to like talk with people and just kind of chill if I can. All right, we have come to our final question. What does a typical college day look like? I would say like a typical day really looks like getting up, going to class, doing homework, more classes, maybe working out, practicing violin. When you're a music major or like you're in music, you just have to practice a lot. So usually I'll have 3 to 6 classes every day. The days that I have 6 classes, I'm pretty dead at the end. The good thing about college that is different than high school is that you get breaks between classes where you can do like homework or study. I haven't done like a vlog in a long time, so I will probably be doing that soon. So those are all the questions I have from you guys. Thank you again to everyone who submitted them. That was literally so sweet. You asked really good questions that made this video happen, so thank you so much. For all of you who are seniors or who are going to be in college soon, I wish you the best of luck. You're gonna kill it, you're gonna crush it. I'm so excited for you in this next step of your life. Obviously, I know that I have still much more
to learn.
but I thought I would just try to pass along any little bit of advice that I could. Comment down below the sunshine emoji if you made it to this point. If you did, you're a real one, and I love and appreciate you so much. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Oh, you just classy, I ain't trying to keep it to myself. Oh, mama.